What's up, team? Mikey Bell here with Outdoor Adventure Training, and today we're diving into a 15-minute mobility routine for your calves and feet. Whether you're a hiker, backpacker, trail runner, mountaineer, or skier, your calves and feet are some of the most important muscle groups in your entire body, as they ultimately allow us to do our favorite outdoor activity. Unfortunately, when we start spending a lot of time doing the same repetitive motion in our favorite activities, chronic and acute injuries can emerge, and these can be crippling and keep you away from doing the things you love. Plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, even shin splints from the posterior tibialis. These are all very common and debilitating injuries in the lower legs and feet that can ultimately keep you off the trails or the mountain. This is a mobility routine that I utilize in every single one of our training programs because it is so important to have healthy feet and healthy calves for the longevity of your outdoor career. If you're looking for a more structured approach to training and really want to maximize your adventures, check out our website at outdooradventuretraining.com. We have a bunch of different program options to meet you where you're at and ultimately take you to the next level. For this routine, you are going to need a few simple pieces of equipment that hopefully you already have access to, and if not, I would encourage you to pause this video and go pick them up. Number one, you're going to need a foam roller. Any density will be fine for this. I have a softer gray one in the corner there. I'm using my mid-density one here because my calves are pretty tight from a lot of running recently. Number two, you're going to need some sort of a massage ball. You don't need to get fancy with this. I have a standard rubber lacrosse ball that I bought a 2-pack on Amazon for $5.99. You don't need to buy a $30 massage ball. If the lacrosse ball is too intense, maybe start off with a tennis ball, but down the road, we want a high density rubber ball that's really gonna break up the fascia. And lastly, some sort of a mat or padding. Some of these things require us being on our knees or on our toes for extended period of time. And if you're not used to that, can be uncomfortable, so just having a little bit of padding from a simple yoga mat will do. So we'll open the Outdoor Adventure Training app and click on the mobility for calves and feet routine. As you can see, it's about 15 minutes long. We got a variety of foam rolling, trigger point release, maybe a little active release technique, and some various active and static stretching movements. So we're actually gonna start standing up with the massage ball, and we're going to be rolling out our plantar fascia, which is just on the bottom of the foot. So all I'm doing is standing on one leg and just working that ball on the bottom part of my foot. Very simple. I spend a ton of time doing this, especially during trail running season, where I'm really working that plantar fascia often. So I'm just kind of rolling from the knuckle below the big toe all the way down towards the heel along that medial arch. And then I like to roll across in front of the heel up towards the outside part just below the pinky toe, and then back across. Really, you can't go wrong here. There's no specific pattern you need to follow. We're just trying to roll out that plantar fascia. So as I mentioned, we'll talk a little bit more about the science behind why we do some of these things. And essentially, your fascia is this saran wrap-like connective tissue that encompasses your muscle belly and each individual muscle fibers. So you have a lot of fascia in your body. And for this practice, we're really just focusing below the knee, but breaking up the knots and adhesions between that fascia and the muscle belly will allow that muscle to move more pain-free and without problems. Just a few more seconds on the right foot. We're gonna switch over to the left side. This is 90 seconds on each side.
Foam rolling, plantar fascia.
Definitely tightness on the inside of the right foot there. That's usually what gets me. So again, just nice and easy, rolling it out. If the lacrosse ball is too intense, just put more weight on your other leg. You can even do this sitting down. I personally just don't find I get enough pressure to really get the results I'm looking for. Not much to it. I have probably 4 or 5 lacrosse balls scattered throughout my house and in the gym here, and pretty much wherever I am, I'm trying to roll out my feet pretty frequently. Goes a long way for foot pain, keeping it at bay. Luckily, knock on wood, I've never had plantar fasciitis, and I owe it all to this right here. don't shy away from those points of tenderness. It's where it's gonna hurt the most potentially, but that's most likely where you have some knots and adhesions. If it's a really sharp pain or a burning sensation, maybe back off a little bit and seek some more advanced care. But more often than not, just gotta roll out a little bit more. A little bit longer here, and then we're gonna transition to foam rolling the calves. So again, I encourage you to do much more of this in your day-to-day life. Make it a habit, make it a ritual. Okay, move that lacrosse ball out of the way for now. I'm gonna grab my foam roller, and we're foam rolling our calves. I'm gonna work on my right leg first. So you can certainly just do one leg at a time with this other foot on the floor, just nice and easy right here. For me personally, this is not enough pressure, at least with this density of roller. So the next option is to cross the other leg over the top. And that's gonna put quite a bit more pressure on that gastrocnemius. So you can internally rotate the hip and get more on that medial side of the calves. Or where you might find some more tightness is rotating to the outside part of your calves, the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. Can often be very tight on folks. Nice and easy, trying to keep the toes at least somewhat pointed up as I'm rolling. And we're actually gonna stay on this leg, and we're going to do some active release techniques. So you can just keep using your foam roller. And what I want you to do, and hopefully you had some assessment time during that 60 seconds to find a point of tenderness. And now we're going to do some active release technique where we're maintaining pressure, and I'm gonna bring my ankle through its range of motion the best that I can. So I'm gonna point and plantar flex, and I'm gonna bring those toes up and dorsiflex. If you've never done this, this might be really intense. And the simple solution here is just release the amount of pressure, reduce the amount of pressure. Any kind of motion here is good. And then I like to gently roll out that spot. I might go a little bit further down on the calves. And then again, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. Trying to move that ankle through the range of motion. You can even do ankle circles, all about that. Ooh, got a little popping in the ankle. It's good news. Rotate the direction of the circles. And then again, just kind of scanning for some points of tenderness. I got a little bit of tightness on that medial calf. I'm gonna work some plantar dorsiflexion here, just nice, slow, controlled movements. Make sure you're breathing. We're gonna be transitioning to the other leg in just a second. Okay, switching to the left leg now. I'm gonna go right ahead and cross it over. And again, these first 60 seconds, we're just kind of scanning, getting the muscle warmed up, if you will, kind of like in our workouts. All of our dynamic warm-ups, we're getting the muscles warmed up, and foam rolling, I like to think of it as a warm-up oftentimes for more intense mobility or even static stretching. Nice and easy here. My calves are definitely tight. Had an 18-mile run a few days ago on top of a 15-mile run a few days before that. My calves are feeling it, which is very normal and expected, which is why I spend so much time foam rolling.
10 seconds left. Hang in there.
Just a few more seconds, and then we got active release technique on this calf.
Art calves.
I'm gonna just find this spot right here on the medial side. Plantar flex, dorsiflex, nice and easy. Working it through the range of motion. Usually 5 to 10 cycles through its full range of motion is plenty to get the result we're looking for. Keep in mind, we are spending about 2.5 minutes on each leg right here, which might be a lot if you've never foam rolled your calves. However, that's kind of the baseline in my opinion. It takes at least 60 seconds to stimulate what's called the Golgi tendon organs, which signals the muscles to relax. So once you get beyond that 60-second period, we can really start making some significant changes, which is why I think 90 to 120 or more seconds is really where we want to be. And ideally that's in one session. However, if you don't have the time, you could break that up into multiple sessions. Foam roll your calves in the morning and at night. Few more cycles through its range of motion here. Then we're going to be foam rolling the other side of the shin, the anterior tibialis.
You're done in 3, 2, 1.
Okay,
Foam rolling.
so we're
Anterior
using now
tibialis.
the foam roller to massage the outside part of the shin, which can be pretty rough if you've never done this. So what I'm gonna do is find my tibia, which is the bone of your shin, and I'm gonna rotate just to the outside. And now I'm rolling on that soft tissue, opposite of the gastroc and the calves that we were just rolling, from my ankle all the way up to just below the knee. I don't wanna pop over the kneecap per se. Nice and easy. I'm trying to keep my toes somewhat pointed away. If you want, you can stack both legs. If for some reason that wasn't enough. Oh yeah, that's kind of the amount of pressure I need to really get in there. Again, I've been foam rolling for many, many years now. Pretty used to this stuff, and I crave it. Few more passes. Then we're just switching right away to the other leg. Again, I'm just finding that tibia and working just on the outside part of the tibia. We're not totally on the side. This is a different muscle group. This is the peroneals, which can also be good to roll. But today we're focusing on the anterior tibialis, or tibialis anterior, however you want to say it. Nice and easy here. Everyone thinks this is the muscle involved with shin splints. It is not. If your anterior tib, that outside part of your shin, is tired after running or hiking, it's from foot slapping. When your forefoot slaps into the ground, that's that shock that you're feeling, that soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness most likely.
10 seconds left.
That's more a matter of technique. So is mitigating shin splints, which we'll get to next on the posterior tibialis. So we're going to the
Posterior
opposite
tibialis.
side of the shin now. We're going to the inside part of the shin, running right along the bone. This is the posterior tibialis, which is the muscle that's responsible for shin splints. So just nice and easy here. I can cross this other leg on top. I spent a lot of time mobilizing the posterior tibialis, self-massage, even just working right here with your thumbs on that inside part of the bone and moving your ankle. That's amazing. I spent a lot of time doing that. Massage gun also works great for posterior tibialis. So foam rolling it doesn't do a ton for me, and I like it that way. I don't want this to become painful, because that's going to affect my running and hiking performance. Nice and easy. And then we're going to be switching to the other leg.
Posterior tibialis.
And then we're going to get into some stretching. This is our last rolling technique for the lower legs. This is a pretty general routine, getting really the main muscles below the lower leg. This is just meant to improve your overall performance and reduce your risk of injury. But if you suffer more acutely from shin splints or plantar fasciitis, you might need more customized routines, which we can certainly prescribe for you. This is great to do in the morning. You can do this routine before your hike. You can do it after your hike. You can do it before and after your hike. Can't go wrong. The rolling and stretching.
Toe squat.
Okay, we're getting into a toe squat now, and this is where you might want to pad your knees. And this can be pretty tough for people. We got 90 seconds here, but essentially all I'm doing is getting my big toes grounded and working on splaying out my feet. You can even manually move your pinky toes out a little bit. And I'm literally just sitting here. This is more of a static stretch. We can make it more dynamic by moving our hips. What we're really after here is stretching out the bottom of our feet and even into our calves. If this is way too much, you might just be on your hands like this, pushing back, and that might be enough of a stretch. I personally like to use a little bit of traction by pushing against the floor and adding more pressure back. It feels really good through the entire foot. I'm gonna keep this a little bit active today as I have a workout and a run coming up today. We don't want to do a bunch of static stretching before big efforts. Really big stretch through the foot, right in the arch. Should feel good. We're also getting into a lot of other smaller stabilizing muscles with this one that I'm not going to go too into the weeds with. Just nice and easy. Definitely feeling this more on the left side through that posterior tibialis. Okay, we're coming up slowly and we're going right into a static stretch for the gastrocnemius. This is a classic stretch. All I'm doing is trying to keep my back heel grounded, front knee bent, and I'm just pressing my hips forward. The wall is a great way to do this. You might not be as far. Get to a position where you can keep that foot flat on the floor. And now you'll see on the app here, it says AIS. This is active isolated stretching. So I'm going to intentionally work on driving the knee forward, hold for a couple of seconds, and then come out of it. Nice and easy. Drive it forward. Really good stretch through the calves. For this one, we are working on keeping the knee straight. If you want to bend your knee, you're going to get into the soleus muscle. So experiment with which one feels maybe more intense for you. Whether it's knee straight or knee bent, they're stretching two different muscles there. Knee bent again is soleus, knee straight is gastrocnemius, which are our two prime calf muscles. Do a few more rounds of that active isolated stretching. So driving forward, keeping the heel grounded. Really deep stretch through the calves. Slowly come out of it. Drive forward, hold for a few seconds. Nice to be active with these stretches. Really feel where you're struggling with range of motion. And that's where we can hyper focus other mobility techniques, foam rolling, trigger point release, to help mobilize those structures. Almost done here, a few more seconds. Okay, nice job. Your calves and feet should hopefully feel a little bit more mobile, a little bit more open. And if that was somewhat hard for you, that is totally okay. And there's nothing wrong with being there if you've never done these things, or even if you have done these things but you're not doing them consistently. You can't expect immediate results. Changes in our fascia and through the muscles takes time. So ease into this stuff, practice this sort of routine daily, if nothing else. Get yourself a lacrosse ball and start rolling your plantar fascia out. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Outdoor Adventure Training channel, leave us a comment of other issues that you might be facing, and we'd love to make a video for you. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time at Outdoor Adventure Training.